With the dawn of 3D graphics, beat-em-ups had died. Games like Final Fight and Streets of Rage had previously ruled the genre, but with the advent of the PS1 and Nintendo 64, developers had nothing. Everything that trickled out was absolute shit. Even with the beginning of the PlayStation 2 era, beat-em-ups sucked. Games like Squaresoft's The Bouncer were pathetic. It wasn't until Tecmo and Team Ninja came around in 2004 that the genre was revitalized. Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox is what saved beat-em-ups and paved the way for games like God of War and Heavenly Sword. Prior to Ninja Gaiden, developers treated beat-em-ups like effortless throwaways. Take a random character, give him an attack or two, and shove him out the door. It doesn't matter that the levels are lifeless and uninspired, people will buy it anyway because people like violence. While Team Ninja kept the oh-so-delicious violence, they also added a whole lot more. Ninja Gaiden Sigma for the PlayStation 3 is an enhanced version of Ninja Gaiden, and arguably the best. You have 3 new levels with a new playable character, and some other minor adjustments, including a slightly more reasonable amount of save points. Of course, the graphics have all been majorly overhauled and redesigned, and yes, it does look beautiful. Ninja Gaiden is very much like a fighting game for action-adventure gamers. You have 2 attack buttons that will provide a variety of moves depending on how you hold the analog stick. There's a multitude of combos to learn, and just like hardcore fighting games, you'll eventually be completely screwed if you don't learn the intricate system inside and out. Starting out Ninja Gaiden is like being tossed into a pool in the middle of your sleep with some gigantic fat man screaming at you to swim, bitch. Ninja Gaiden is a hardcore game for hardcore gamers. It packs some high levels of difficulty, and while it is manageable, a large part of the challenge is just figuring out what works. What kind of attacks and combos will work on these guys? How about them? Just what specifically should I be evading? Wrapping your head around this beast can be a little infuriating, but it does pay off. Despite revitalizing the genre, Ninja Gaiden isn't perfect. Sigma contains a horrendous camera. Enemies are constantly off-screen, and properly cutting them down requires educated guesswork. The lack of properly placed save points can be extremely aggravating. I get that this game is supposed to be hard, but please, don't make me run through the same mindless areas slashing down the same generic bad guys just to get to the boss battle that I died at on my last attempt. These bosses are hard as hell too, especially if you're trying to conserve potions and such, so this will be happening quite often. As far as being nitpicky goes, encounters occasionally feature random loading screens, and some of the pre-rendered cutscenes do look a bit blurry. Ninja Gaiden is for those who are a glutton for punishment. For gamers who love to live on the edge of their seat, just one screw up away from buying the farm. Just hardly getting by with the skin of your teeth can provide a very rewarding experience after making your way through some of the more difficult areas. A lot of the appeal in this one comes from barely scraping by, but then taking your newfound knowledge of the game's mechanics into a replay and absolutely kicking its ass. It feels really good pounding the computer back to hell in an area where it was once driving you insane. I get the impression that the people who commonly review this game are reviewing the game based on their experiences after they've played 20 or so hours into mastering it. Despite common belief, Ninja Gaiden is not for everyone, and it is perfectly acceptable if it doesn't really appeal to you. My first time through, there really were some parts where I just wasn't having much fun. The execution of cutscenes is nice, but the story is mostly throwaway. You need to enjoy brutal style beat-em-up gameplay and the need to be meticulous and particular. There's no doubt in my mind that for some people, Ninja Gaiden will nearly be a perfect 10. With harder difficulty settings and a large number of varying weapons to master, there is a lot of fun to be had. I can really appreciate the wide variety of settings and styles which mesh together perfectly, including countryside, modern, and fantasy. Despite the main core of this game only coming out in 2004 though, it has not aged as well as it should have. Game design has improved a bit, and Ninja Gaiden already feels slightly behind the times. It's worth checking out though if you love brutal style action adventure. There are some intricacies that Ninja Gaiden gets right that still no one else has managed to pin down. If you enjoy your games difficult, this is one to check out. I give Ninja Gaiden Sigma on the PlayStation 3 an 8 out of 10.